Yeah, 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 yeah. Running through other people money like I'm Kennedy. Gotta pray for them cause I'm living with this enemy. Running up a bag, Lord protect me from my enemies. Trying to go limitless, why they wanna limit me? Running through other people money like I'm Kennedy. Gotta pray for them cause I'm living with this enemy. Running up a bag, Lord protect me from my enemies. Trying to go limitless, why they wanna limit me? About to go limitless, swear I'm on.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there, y'all. That's my man Dre Marley. That's the intro song. That's my boy Dre Marley. Go check him out on his YouTube channel. I'll put all his links and stuff like that in the description below. And don't forget, y'all, to click that subscribe button, hit the little bell so you can be notified. Leave a little comment if you want to. It's all good. If not, that's cool too. I just thank you for listening no matter what. Y'all now, of course, listening to the Podcast Experience. Of course, I'm your main man, Dwayne. And this is just a podcast we vibe out, man. It's a little bit different. I'd like to think it is anyway, just because it's my thoughts that I'm thinking and nobody else is. So I think, it's a little bit different. We're going to have some guests on here, man. I got some guests lined up. I can't wait. But yeah, we don't really have any structure here or nothing like that, man. We just talk about whatever comes up. You can email the show at thedpcexperience@gmail.com if you have any questions or anything you want me to plug. Like my main man right there, Dre Marley, he sent me the song and was like, yo, I was like, I'll play the intro and outro, bro. I got you or whatever. If you have a business or a service or something that you think that, you could help people with or whatever you want me to advertise, let me know. I got you covered. That's what I believe that, people should do. Sponsors are cool too, but when you can help, local cats out, it feels like you're giving back to the community, you're helping them. You know what I mean? So anyway, y'all, what's going on? Happy Tuesday. And, this is recorded Tuesday. I don't know when it's going to be released. Hopefully it'll be released probably Wednesday morning or something like that. But anyway, I had a good weekend. I think on my last podcast, I was talking about the band that I'm in. We had just came back from Pendleton. We got booked for the weekend out there in Pendleton. And that was the weekend before last. And then this weekend, we were out at another casino, Ilani, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a pretty cool casino. And we've been out there a few times. But so we had a couple shows each weekend, which was really, really awesome. I'm very, very happy and blessed to be able to be around the musicians and singers that I am. My co-lead singer, Christy, this lady right here, boy. When people say firecracker, this one is for real, for real. And what's crazy is we're a dance band, right? So we do top 40 hits, dance hits. You'll be dancing all night, I promise. So we do everything from Bruno Mars to Maroon 5 to some 90s stuff, man. Montel Jordan, TLC, The Weeknd. We do a lot of stuff, y'all. We're a lot of fun. But what's crazy is Miss Christie, her wheelhouse is she's a country pop singer. She's a country pop singer. And my background is I write and sing R&B music, that baby making music. But what we do is the top 40 dance hits. So it's nothing in our wheelhouse, but it all has elements of what we do. And we're surrounded by a lot of cool musicians. So we vibe very, very well. It's almost like, it's like an unspoken language we have, you know what I mean? And the chemistry of our band is really, really awesome. We have a guitarist who's like, he's what we call the ladies' man. and that's Chris, our lead guitarist. And it's funny, man. The ladies they flock to him. Sexy Chris. That's that's his nickname. And shout out to everybody out there in Oregon City. They support us really, really well out there in Oregon City. Definitely appreciate it. If I haven't mentioned it, the band's name is called Collective Nation. It's on facebook.com/Collective Nation, and also collectivenationband.com. You can look us up for when we're going to be playing again, where we're at, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Chris is that's sexy man Chris, and it's funny because he has some group of girls that follow him around to the shows and stuff, and it's awesome. It's awesome because it's all love. And of course Archie, we got the bass genius, this kid right here, and his dad is a genius as well. Actually, his pretty much his whole family. I think his dad has like a master's in music along with his mom, and Archie's just he's crazy. He resembles Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. He really does. Although he got a haircut, so now he looks more like a Beatle, but that's cool too, man. I love the Beatles, but Archie's cool. He's laid back, and he is a genius on that bass guitar. And then, of course, who I usually say at the end of every concert that we have, our drummer, Yuya Matsuda. He is one hell of a drummer, and he comes from a band named The Slants. And I don't know if you guys have heard of The Slants or whatnot, but The Slants, just to let you know a little bit about The Slants, they're the first all-Asian band that won a federal court case with their name, because they weren't going to let them use the name The Slants because they were Asian, but which is racist in itself. But they were like, you can't tell us what's going to offend us. We're Asian, like we like the name, and they won. They won in Supreme Court, federal court, whatever. No, not federal court, Supreme Court. In Washington, they won, and it was the first Asian band to do that. So that's the drummer we have. He's from that band, and the dude he's incredible. He's incredible. Yeah, I can't really say enough about him. And then, of course, our quote-unquote leader of the band, our elder statesman, Lorenzo. He's also our keyboardist, AKA/rapper. It's crazy. Y'all got to come out to our shows and see this dude, man. It'll blow your mind. I've known him for 20 plus years. He put the band together, and originally when the band was put together, we had a few different bandmates. Lorenzo, Chris, and myself are the only three from when the band originally formed. We had we used to be there used to be three of us, right? And so Marzel, who is I consider one of my brothers, and Marzel was with us. He's also an actor. He was in the band when we very, very first started, and also I had a different co-lead singer, female co-lead singer. Her name was Amber, and our band was consisted of Amber, Marzel, Lorenzo, Chris on guitar, and then we had Ari on drums, who's one hell of a drummer. This dude, right? This dude is ridiculous on the drums as well. And then, of course, we had Roy. And Roy was, I'm telling you right now, every promo picture that we have, Roy is just standing there. He's just standing still. And he don't have to move to groove. That's his nickname. Don't have to move to groove, and he was our bassist, and that was our band. And then as time went on, Ari's better half, no, Ari's wife, she got a promotion at a job, and the only way they could take it was to go to California and have to relocate, and that's that. And then of course Roy and Ari best friends. They've been playing together, for 10 plus years or whatever it was. And so there went that rhythm section, plus Roy had just got married. He just got back from Thailand or something like that. I can't remember where he's actually from, but he went and got married. And, he's young and he wants to start a family and he wanted to dedicate more time to the family. So, they left the band. Marcel was actually the first one to leave the band. He moved to Martha's Vineyard, and he went out to Martha's Vineyard to just continue his life, and it is much happier. It is much happier now, and I'm proud of him for it, to move all the way across country. But he had a really good reason, but I'm not going to get into it anyway. And then Amber, she too just wanted to spend more time with family and all that kind of stuff. And she actually ended up moving to like Minnesota or Montana or Idaho or something like that. And she's out there doing Amber things. And the reason why I say that is because Amber is a very, she's free-spirited in a way. She's responsible, but she's free-spirited in a way that was probably the reason why she sang so good, was because she was free spirit. She just got in her own zone and did her thing and all that. But once they left the band, we got, we didn't really know what we were going to do or whatever, but we ended up getting blessed with Miss Christie and Archie and Yuya, and we're still rocking, we're still rocking. So it's Collective Nation. You got to come out and see us. It is very, very, very fun, especially when you see the crowd having a good time. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But even though Marcel and Amber and Ari, and they're not in the group anymore, and Roy, we all keep in touch, obviously, through social media. Everything's on social media. You're listening to this right now on social media. But I think, what's crazy about social media, though? I always get intrigued by the people that have to make a post on every single thing they do during the day. Like, their first post is like, oh, woke up 2 minutes late. Uh-oh. Or, or the ones I love the most. Oh my gosh. The posts that make you ask, or they make you comment, what happened? Like those posts is like, I finally did it, and that's it. That's all that the post is. Or, y'all know what I'm talking about. Those kind of posts, it's like, come on, man, really? Like, it's going to be okay. You don't have to post every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's what's really nuts is it's like we get caught up in looking at our screens. We're always just walking around with our phones. It's almost when you leave it at home, you go through a little panic. And it's crazy that a little device makes us do that, right? We get a little panic and we're like, oh no. It's almost like we're naked. That's kind of what it feels like, right? It feels like we're almost naked without our phones. It's very liberating, y'all. It's very liberating to put your phone down and not worry about it. It's very liberating. I'm just saying, I know it's your Facebook. You can post whatever you want to post. Do whatever you want to do. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, if you can't go longer than an hour without being preoccupied, I'm just talking about, sitting down, watching TV, or doing something that doesn't have your phone. If you can't not, double negative, I know, but if you can't not, check your Facebook or mess with your phone, for an hour without messing with Facebook or Instagram or whatever else, swiping left or clicking yes or no, or no, whatever, or checking in here or checking in there. If you can't go an hour, I mean, you got to go outside or something, or you just be a little more active. I'm not judging you. Maybe that's what you want to do. And if that's what you want to do, great. Go for it. If that's what makes you happy, because at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? It's what you want to do. But I'm just saying, there's so much more to the world than just social media. And I think a lot of times people get caught up in it, like you validate yourself, man. I got 3 million followers. It's like, yeah, but they don't really even know you though. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know you. I know pretty much everybody on my Facebook, and if I don't, they know me from either music or something like that. And they're just following me because they're fans, which I appreciate. You know what I mean? But social media isn't life, y'all. We get caught up looking at photos of mountains when all we need to do is walk to the damn front door, open that shit up and look. Especially if you live in the Northwest. You're looking at pictures of shit that's right outside your door. I mean, you know how crazy that is? And I'm a photographer as well. So I'm not saying don't look at stuff, because obviously, you see a nice picture of a mountain and a sunset or something like that. Yeah. And if it's on social media, that's dope. It's on Pinterest. That's awesome. What I'm saying to y'all is don't let it run your life. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Just don't let it run your life. And I think some of y'all just, they let it take you over or whatever. But anyway, speaking of technology and all that kind of stuff, you ever been like, you're messaging somebody or texting somebody and, you notice your autocorrect, and then you ever notice like, God, man, I don't know how to spell shit. Like it's popping up everything every time you go to spell the word, right? So what I like to do anyway is I don't like to use the autocorrect. I like to kind of challenge myself and spell the word out. You know what I mean? Some words are still hard, like restaurant or because or something, or something like that. The weird words, but everything's autocorrect. You know what I mean? It's and then when you're typing on the computer, if you're in Microsoft Word or whatever word processing thing that you use or whatever, it'll have like a red squiggly line underneath the word that you spelt wrong, and then if you get like an orange squiggly line, or sometimes it's blue underneath, that's a grammar error. You got a grammar error going on. I mean, it's checking your grammar and everything. And I'm like, who uses that nowadays? You know what I mean? A lot of people can't even write their own name on a piece of paper, let alone worry about some grammar, It's crazy to me that they don't teach writing and all that kind of stuff. And I remember learning cursive and all that. Oh, it's crazy. Anyway, yeah, that's something I was thinking about today. It's just not letting it correct my mistakes and letting me correct my mistakes. I think because I like to make my brain work, y'all. I think we're not that the world is getting. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, the world is getting dumber." I'm not meaning that, but I think really the world, although there's super intelligence on the planet, but I do think that there is a lack of growth. I think the growth is slowed down due to technology a little bit because we depend on, and I'm just talking about the cognitive understanding of just spelling words. I think it's kind of slowed down because we depend on technology to fix it for us. So I just don't want to depend on it. That's all. Plus, I just like making my brain work. I watch brain games on this little thing you can pick on the Comcast thing or whatever. I just like to make my brain work. That's all. I'm a nerd like that, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So anyway, we're going to get into some of these questions here real quick and see what we got here. Emily asked, when will you start making video podcasts? That's a good question. Basically, right now, Emily, there's a lot of good stuff going on in my life. One kind of not so good thing is I broke my leg, so that's kind of slowed it down a little bit, but I still stay pretty busy and I'm still pretty active, and there's a lot of cool things that's going on. Music is going good, obviously, with my band, but also photography. So I've been dedicating, some time to that. And because this podcast is kind of newer, it gives me a little bit of a leeway because, you kind of just have to listen to my voice for a little bit, and I'm sorry. Maybe one day I'll come on here and sing something for you. If y'all can throw some suggestions, email them at thedpcexperience@gmail.com. Email me some suggestions of things maybe to sing or whatnot. But anyway, just have to get a little more equipment and stuff like that, and then we'll be rocking. That's all it is. But it's just a matter of time. But I definitely appreciate you rocking with me and listening and emailing. Thanks, Emily. I appreciate it. What do we got here? Miss Caitlin. Caitlin asks, I seen your post about selfie queens being uncomfortable with others taking photos of them. That's kind of rude. Okay. That's it. Okay, well, first of all, Caitlin, thank you for listening. And secondly, you obviously didn't read the whole entire post. Okay? So, what I do believe the post said, in fact, let me actually quote it. Let me quote what I said, just so there's no misunderstandings. Okay, so we don't have any misunderstandings. What I said was, for my post, I said, where is it? Oh, crap. See, you got me all. Let's see. Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay. Basically, what I said, not basically, I will read it word for word. I said, for all you selfie queens out there and kings, I understand you're not as confident when someone else wants to take the same type of photos of you that you take of yourself. Now, see, Miss Caitlin, that's where you stopped right there. Okay, that's where you stopped. And then you took that however you wanted to take it, not what it was actually meant. Because if you would have kept reading, you wouldn't have had that energy to write that email to me and think of it in a negative way. Let me continue. After I say, I understand you're not as confident when someone else wants to take the same type of photos of you that you take of yourself. I 100% get it. Now, this is for all the selfie queens and kings out there, not Caitlin. This isn't directed at her. I said, I 100% get it. But just know, if you're interested in the type of photography I do, which is with light, I learned how to blend light. I basically learned how to blend light in a very, very nice way that makes photos come out looking a certain way, which I will be teaching and doing photo walks and all that. I want to spread the knowledge that I have. Anyway, if you're interested in the type of photography I do, I'm easygoing and uber laid back when shooting. Uber laid back. All right? I said, I promise you'll have a good time and walk away knowing you slayed the shoot and you can do it again. Just think about it. There's something to be said about a great photo of yourself, and I can help you make that happen. So that's not a negative post. And normally, Miss Caitlin, I don't address people's assumptions. I usually don't. I usually just let them think whatever. But this is a little bit different only because I hope it's a genuine question and you're not, just trying to, kind of stir a pot, which I don't think you would stir a pot. I don't think you would. I'm just saying, I apologize that you took it the way you did, but if you would have kept reading, you would understand that I didn't mean it in that way. Okay. But I do thank you for listening. I thanks for the email either way. And I hope you keep listening because, I'm not angry or anything. I was just explaining, you got to read the whole thing. It's something that's like, I don't know. You gotta read the whole thing, to understand the whole story. It's like the lady who shot the black giraffe. Yeah, I think it was the lady who shot the black giraffe. A lot of people are pissed off about that. but they didn't read the whole story. And I'm not saying animals deserve to die and all this other stuff. It was a very, very old giraffe, but what it was doing was killing off a bunch of other male, younger giraffes. And it was screwing, it basically took like future centuries of giraffes. Because you got to think about it. If you kill a male off, they have a potential to have a very, very long offspring. Potentially it can make more males, and then those males make more males, and that's just one giraffe. And the whole black one, the black one that got shot or whatever was just killing male giraffe, or all kinds of giraffes, I guess. Now I don't think the lady should have glorified it by posting like a photo with it smiling with the gun and all that, but I think she just got caught up, in the moment or whatever. But see, that's another thing. You got to read the whole story. A lot of people are mad because it's an animal and you killed it, and the animal rights people is like, that's cruel and mean. But it's like, listen, this thing was taking out other giraffes that had a longer future than this one was going to have. So, I'm not saying it's right. Not, like I said, I don't think it was good that she posed with it, but she just got caught up in the moment. But anyway, thank you, Caitlin, very much for your email. And I hope that kind of cleared it up, because I don't mean any ill will. I don't mean any ill will towards anybody. And I don't want anybody out there to think that, and I don't think anybody does, because I don't have any ill will. So anyway, let's see. Let's take another email. We got Steve. Steve asks, do you think people have been more hostile since Trump has been president? Steve, listen, man, I don't really like to talk politics, bro. And the reason why I don't like to talk politics is because, to me, there's just no one knows how to have a conversation without throwing insults, man. It's like, if everyone on each side can at least come to a conclusion and just accept it and just say, okay, we'll see what happens in the next election, and then went on about their business instead of fighting and trying to push their thoughts and beliefs down someone else's throat, expecting them just to accept it and not fight back. Nothing gets resolved that way. Nothing gets resolved that way. And the only thing I will say is this, man. Everyone can easily get their point across if everyone would just at least respect someone else's opinion to why they think the way they do. And hopefully that person does the same for you. It's like, an example of what happens is a perfect two strangers sitting next to each other come up with a conversation, and one of them says, oh, who did you vote for? And somebody says, oh, I voted for Hillary. And the other person's like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. And the other person now, boom, is defensive because you insulted them and you insulted their beliefs. And so what are they going to do? They're going to retaliate. Oh, let me guess. You voted for fucking Trump, you racist bastard, or whatever. Whatever. And it's like, see, now there's turmoil. Now those people don't like each other, all because of someone couldn't see someone else's opinion. How a conversation should go, these are the people I sit down with. The people that I sit down with, the conversation will go a little like this. Hey, Dwayne, who did you vote for? I voted for so-and-so. Okay, great. Who did you vote for? I voted for so-and-so. Oh, awesome. What made you vote for that person? Oh, because of this, this, and this. What made you vote for that? Then I would say, oh, because of this, this, and this. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what happens in the next election, right? Yeah, that's true. Well, hopefully everything works out in this term. Well, let's hope. And then everyone go back about their business. There doesn't have to be, oh, you're retarded because you, oh, this, that, and the other. And they automatically go to the negative stuff. Automatically. And it's like, people just need to relax and calm down. And I think with social media giving everybody a platform, it just escalates everything. You know what I mean? Because everyone does have a right to speak. Everyone has a right to voice their opinions. That's why we live in this country, and we're very blessed to live in this country. And in fact, the other podcast that I'm a part of, Lit Expressions, which you can listen to every Monday at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as if I'm typing at PST, or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. ArtistFirstNetwork.com. That's where you can listen live every Monday. But anyway, we had this lady on there, and she was from South Africa, and we were talking about sexual harassment and the Me Too movement thing on that podcast, and she couldn't really talk about how their government handled, or lack thereof, handled situations like that, because it's illegal to speak against your government where she's from. And of course, she doesn't know who's listening and who's going to hear it and all that. She can't speak freely. So I want you guys to count your blessings. You live in a country where we can speak what the fuck we want to say. Regardless of anybody likes it, we can speak what we want to say. So, and regardless of what you think of the country, we can do what we want to do. Okay? So, but I don't, it's, the way I feel about politics is this, man. People just on each side just want to win. That's it. Just to say they won. That's it. It's like a dick contest. It's like, it's just dumb to me. It's dumb to me how this could split a country. Their common ground is we all want what's best, right? That's where it starts branching off to somebody's opinion of what's best and this, that, and the other. It's so prehistoric that we have one person that runs this country anyway. Like, it shouldn't be ran like that. We shouldn't just have one person that runs the whole entire country. That's just ridiculous. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. I don't get into politics. And thank you for the question, but I don't do that. I do not do that. I do not do that. Anyway, yeah. So thank you guys for the questions. If you guys have, for anybody else, like I said, if you have questions of how to be a guest on the show, or if you have services or something like that you want me to advertise on the show or whatever, email the thedpcexperience at gmail.com, and I'll check it out, and I will get you either on the show or advertise for you on the show and all that kind of stuff. And once again, this podcast is brought to you by Dwayne Johnson's Photography. If you want something different, look up facebook.com/Dwayne Johnson's Photography, DuaneJohnsons Photography. That's on Facebook. And don't act like I don't know how to spell photography. PHOTOGRAPHY. Come on now. And no, I'm not looking at anything. I'm staring at a microphone, y'all. So, but in my head, I ain't gonna lie. When I'm spelling it or typing it out or whatever, I say photography. So don't even, so don't judge me. Not worried about if you judge me or not. It don't matter. But, anyway, yeah, check that out. I truly do, some different stuff than I've seen around here. And I'm also going to be teaching. I'm going to be doing workshops and teaching people how to do the photography, the type of photography that I do, because I truly believe that knowledge is not just for me to hang on to. Plus, how I've learned is from a gentleman who made the decision also to teach others, which I would have done this. I would have done it regardless if he would have done it or not. Only because I truly believe, like I said, knowledge is not for us to just know and hold on to, but it's to spread, and, but anyway, so I'm going to be doing photo walks and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in wanting to be a model on a photo walk, or if you're interested in a photo shoot with yourself, your kids, whatever, let me know. Let me know. You can email me at Dwayne Johnson's photography at gmail.com, or you can reach me at facebook.com/Dwayne Johnson's photography. You can message me there. And then, of course, as a lot of y'all listeners know, I'm on this weight loss journey now for the last 4 years, and I'm proud to say I've lost 359 pounds naturally just by eating right and exercising. I do have a broken leg right now, so I do have kind of a speed bump, but your boy's doing big things, man, trying to get the big things smaller, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so but yeah, that's my Instagram. That's my weight loss Instagram is Dwayne, yes I can Johnson, all in one sentence. Duane is how you spell Dwayne. And Johnsson is Johnson. Dwayne, yes I can Johnson, all in one sentence. And that's on Instagram. Check it out, y'all. And let's see, what else, man? What else? See what's going on. Let me see. I drove by my the house I grew up in today. Man, shout out to y'all if y'all house is still up where y'all grew up at. Yeah, I drove by my old house today, man, and I drive by it quite often, and actually I don't live too far from it. But it's crazy because it's been bought and sold about 7 times, man, 7 times in about 20 years. And it's funny because my dad did so much work to the house. There's a gate that's still there. There's an extra room. He turned the garage into an actual dining room, like carpet and everything. Like it looked like it went with the house. My pops is real good with the tools. You know what I mean? He's kind of a Tim the Tool Man Taylor. You know, he's handy around the house. He's one of those active older people. You know, he gets up, gets that weed in him, and gets him going, get that sativa in him and gets him going. And then he's out there, man, and he's doing stuff. He's laying concrete. He's doing this. He's one of those active older people, and I think it's just because they come from that generation of having to work. And, it's definitely a different generation than what's going on now. But not saying what people do now isn't work. I'm just simply saying it was more physical back then. But yeah, but you ever go back to your old house or drive by it if you have good memories? Some people don't have good memories of the house they grew up in, and if this is bringing up bad memories, I apologize. But you ever, like for me, I go back to my house, and what I'll do is I'll kind of park not across the street but kind of down the street and whatnot, and just kind of sit there and reminisce about things. When I used to ride my bike up and down the thing and jump off the curb, and I remember doing my first wheelie, man, in front of my house, and it's just crazy, Even the smells, like it seems like the smell is different. Like spring smelled different. Summer smelt different. Winter smelt different. It was just a different time. I remember being in my driveway, and my driveway was at a slant, and growing up, shooting on that slant, it was like I was shooting on a 12-foot rim. And for those of y'all that don't know, a regulation height rim is 10 feet. And but because I was shooting, the driveway at the bottom of the driveway was slanted, so I grew up shooting, pretty good and getting used to that. So as I got older, I started playing in parks and playing on teams and stuff. And for a big guy, everyone thought I was just gonna post up, but come on now, 3-point threat all the way, even still to this day. Not with the broken leg, obviously, but anyway. But yeah, I remember being in the driveway and then waiting for cars to drive by, because we didn't live on a too busy street, but cars would drive by every once in a while, and I would wait for them just to get to that point to where, I'd do a little crossover move or something, and 3, 2, 1, and I would shoot it, and I knew they was watching, because when you drive by, because you're not going very fast because it's a kind of a neighborhood, but when you drive by and you see somebody doing something, you stare at them for a second. And if it's something like shoot a ball, you're going to stare at them, see if they made it, just so, you can either be like, okay, right on, or you can just talk some shit when they miss or something, but yeah, I was that kid that did that, man. We're doing cool tricks, doing reverses, doing all kinds of stuff, man. And I remember I used to walk to the park with my friends, man, and we'd be at the park all day, hooping or whatever. And it's just different times, man. It's different times. And even though I'm in the same area that I grew up, it's just different, man. It's so different. But, you ever just go back to your old house and sit there and reminisce, and I had some characters of neighbors. I had a neighbor named Roger, and this dude, man, I don't want to say he's a bad kid because there's always a reason why kids act out, but this dude snuck out every night. He lived in a two-story, it was a two-story house, you know, well, it was a one-story house, but they had an attic that they turned into the bedroom. Well, they had a window that led to the roof, and he would sneak out, and he would fall off the roof, man, and he would sneak out. He's one of those kids, you know. He'd sneak out at night and then sneak back in. And he used to climb up on my dad's fence that he built because the top of the fence led up to the top of the carport, which then he can get onto the roof and then up to that window, up to the attic where his room was. And so that was kind of crazy. And so there was a lot of craziness with that family, which, you know, if you grew up around a family, or if you were that family, the family that just had a lot of family drama inside the home, it was one of those homes. And then on the other side of it, there was this couple we used to call Ken and Barbie, man. Their home always was like, their yard was like, looked like a golf course, and their house looked like a gingerbread house, but in real life without the gingerbread cookies. Like it was like vanilla cookies or something. But their house was like, you know, it really looked like a gingerbread house, man, like a, you know, but it was just really well put together. And then, you know, the husband and the wife and the kids, and, you know, and all that, and they had a fence, you know, it wasn't white picket fence, it was just like a cyclone fence or whatever. But you know, on the outside they looked very Ken and Barbie. We used to call them Ken and Barbie. But I know on the inside of the house, like, the dad was, you know, alcoholic, and the wife was just that wife that, you know, put that smile on or whatever. But yeah, I always wonder what happened to the people that was on that block, man. I lived adjacent to a church that would always get broken into, and me and my friends used to ride our bikes around the church, around there used to be cement that went around the church, and then when you get on the back side of the church and you're coming around the left side of it and you're going back down to the main parking lot, there's like a little hill so you can get some speed, man, and it's a big parking lot. And yeah, I just think about those times because it's crazy. You know, it was just crazy back then. And this was in, you know, because I'm from the mid to late 70s, and so, you know, the mid to late 80s, I was, you know, running around and doing my thing, and then, you know, the 90s, of course, but it's just a different time. It's just you know, social media just wasn't around, man. And I know a lot of people, a lot of the millennials, I know a lot of y'all can't fathom what it was like before the internet. You know, y'all would lose y'all minds if y'all couldn't check in somewhere or look at Facebook every 2 minutes. You know, y'all wouldn't know what to do. And I'm surely convinced that right now, if some crazy junk happened to where technology went down, the only people that would be surviving is some of my generation, but obviously the generation before me and the generation before them, they would be good. But man, some of y'all, if it was technology, some of y'all would be screwed, because some of y'all got y'all houses just technologied up. Everything just, you know, Alexa do this, and the other lady Sienna do this, or whatever the Bluetooth speakers are being called, and whatever. You got it controlling your lights, your windows, your locked doors, and, you know, it's crazy, y'all. I mean, it's cool. It's wow, look what this can do, but man, damn. When you really think about it, it's getting kind of creepy, y'all. It's getting kind of creepy. But anyway, but yeah, just thinking back was crazy, man. Driving my first car was a 1978 Camaro. Man, that damn bad boy. Woo! That shit would go, man. But yeah, it's crazy when you go back to a neighborhood that you lived in. You know, my buddy Mike, he grew up around the corner from where I lived, and then My best friends growing up, Pat and Mike Bryson, shout out to y'all. The hands down, the best drawers and artists I've ever seen in my entire life. It doesn't matter if it's drawing something, if it's with clay, making figurines. Oh my gosh, these dudes. And I don't say that just about anything. That's awesome. No, these dudes are phenomenal. But anyway, I grew up with them, and crazy story about them I'll talk about in a different podcast. But it was crazy times, man. Crazy times. I used to walk up the street to the store or walk to friends' houses, and there was no worry about, kids getting snatched up or getting shot or, whatever. There just wasn't that going on. It was just, and I think as social media comes and more information is given, I think more and more people, it's not that violence has gotten worse. I think there's just a lot of things that happen on social media that kind of give others a green light to go ahead and do some crazy stuff too. And I think all those people that were in hiding have a platform, like I was saying, have a platform which kind of justifies their behavior, because they're like, oh, there's other people like me too. So it justifies, the wrong that they want to do. But yeah, man, there's good and bad on each side about the internet. But anyway, going back to the place that you grew up. But you ever want to go knock on the door and just go walk around the house you used to live in? I've always wanted to do that. And one day, I don't know, this is a while ago, went, knocked on the door, did a walkthrough in the house. I mean, it looked different on the inside by the way they had it decorated, but it felt like, when I was walking around, it flashed back to when I was a kid. Like, I remember, the couch, where the couch was, and the TV, and the extra room my dad made, the dining room, which no one sat in and ate. It was a dining room that no one sat in and ate. It was just there. And I remember my dog. I grew up with a golden retriever named Rose. I talked about her in the last podcast. Go check that out. And it I can't explain. It's a feeling that you can't explain. You have these memories. You're watching these memories in front of you as you're walking through the house. And me anyway. When I go into my bedroom, I picture all my friends hanging out playing Atari or playing some kind of a video game or something like that. And then we switched rooms. My dad and I switched rooms. And I got a bigger room, and I had my weight set in there, and I would lift weights. And then, I remember when I got my first computer, oh my gosh. When the internet very first came out, y'all, speaking of the internet, when the internet very first came out, the 24K, well, actually, it was like 16K, I think it came out. 16K was mad slow, y'all. I mean, cell phones 10 years ago take pictures bigger than the 6K or 8K or whatever it was. But then it was 16K. Yeah, 16K. And then 24K came out. And then the 56K was like huge deal. 56K. And then it was 112K. That's like if you had the money, you can get that 112K internet to where your screen still load in strips from left to right, but it would just load faster. It was just crazy. Pictures weren't clear, It was just, the internet was crazy when it very first came out, man. And then chat rooms hit, and after chat rooms, boy, the world changed forever. People were just like, damn. Chat rooms were the early versions of Tinder and I don't know other ones. I'm not on any of them, so I don't know the names of them, but Tinder always gets thrown around, and swipe left and right and yes this and that and whatever. But anyway, Yahoo chat room, boy, they had a karaoke room where people would go in and sing, boy. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not one to toot my own horn. I don't really like talking about myself, but I do like to think, I have a pretty good voice. And that's just me. It's all right. I'm always learning. But yeah, I used to go in there and sing my ass off, man, and which is a great platform for people that are get nervous in front of people and all that, which isn't me. Well, I'll put it like this: I'm more comfortable singing in front of a crowd of 1,000 people than I am than I am singing in front of like 5 or 6 people. So I get the whole, nervous to sing in front of people, but mine's kind of opposite. I'm nervous to sing in front of just a few people versus, a crowd full. But anyway, it was cool because there's a lot of people you can meet on there, and my buddy and Henry and I have a little story that for a totally different podcast, which I might not even have him on this podcast. Henry's that dude that, everybody has that one friend where you're like, man, I can't take this cat anywhere. Henry's that dude. And one of my best friends, I love him to death, but I don't know if I can have him on the podcast. But anyway, yeah, he's just a real good dude. But yeah, if you haven't, man, take a stroll by your old house if you have good memories of it. If you have bad memories, don't, or if you have bad memories and you've processed it and you've dealt with it and you've accepted it and all that, and you can go back and remember some of the good times, and do that. But if you don't have any good memories, then just leave that shit alone. But if you have good memories or whatever, I would suggest, just drive by your old house every once in a while and kind of just chill and just kind of remember, I remember when I was younger sitting in front of the house, or not sitting in front of the house, but when it was snowing and being out in front of the house, and it snowed deep, y'all, deep. I mean, we had snow fights for weeks, man. It was like if you were watching, the cartoons they showed during Christmas where all the kids are playing in like mounds and mounds of snow, and it's for as far as you can see and stuff. That's how it was. And, it was awesome. But, yeah, anyway, I remember being out there and having my first snowball fight, or making my first snowman or something like that. And then it would get hot as hell too in the summertime. And we had this lady on the right of us named Mary. And Mary was a cool lady. She didn't bother nobody. She went to work. She came home. She stayed in her house. She didn't really bother nobody. And then on the other side of her was like this kind of like a complex that had little apartments. Like if you were to take a drone nowadays and look down on it, it looked kind of like a shoe horse, right? So there's little apartments in there. And there was a friend that always used to come every summer. Her name was Carrie. And Carrie was cool. And I had this other friend named Charles, but we call him Chuck. Chuck was a little player, man. And Chuck and Carrie used to kind of mess around with each other, man, around the church of all places, behind the church, and I'm pretty sure they're not the only two with stories, about behind the church, But anyway, so Carrie was there. She would visit her grandma because her grandma lived there, and so every summer she would visit her grandma. And she was a bigger girl, meaning she was taller than average. She was taller than me, I think, actually, come to think about it. She, on softball, she'd be a catcher. You know what I mean? She'd be the catcher because she's tall. She's a little bit thicker. She'd make a good catcher. Not to say she couldn't play any other positions before people want to get all, in their feelings. But, it's just crazy what I remember. I also remember there was this family I would go over to. I had friends, David and his brother Chris, I do believe. I'm not going to say their last names because their families, actually, there's a lot of them. And I used to go over to their house, man, and it just had this distinctive smell every time I walked in. It wasn't a bad smell. I just can tell what they were cooking every night. And they were the first ones with a Nintendo. And which was crazy. It was crazy when Nintendo very first came out. Oh my goodness! And when Nintendo came out, boy, that right there was the jam. But anyway, yeah. So I remember going over their house, and then I would leave their house, and I would end up smelling like what they were eating for dinner. And then I also had some other friends at the end of the block that wouldn't be around the corner. They were the last place on the end of the block, and Richard and Shannon. And they were cool people, Richard and Shannon. I always wonder what happened to them too. I ran into Richard, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago or something like that. And Richard was a wrestler, and this dude at school, you know, he was kind of like that bully guy. But when he seen me in adulthood, I'm bigger than most people, so he didn't really have much to say when he seen me after not seeing me for a very long time. But I always wonder what happened to them, you know, and it was just, I'm just saying, go back to your old house. Go back to your house, y'all. If you got good memories, go back there and go take a look and see what's going on, you know, and just, I don't know. It's kind of like showing appreciation, kind of from where you grew up. I also grew up in the Fruit Valley and La Center, so it's I don't go that far because that's when I was super young and I don't even remember being out there. I just know that we lived there for a little while, but at this address that's actually, like I said, right down the street from where I'm at now, it's crazy. It's just crazy. The whole area has changed. I just remember walking the streets and all that, and it's very therapeutic to go back there if you have good, fond memories of that place. It's therapeutic kind of to go back there, and it grounds me. It really does, and I'm appreciative of it. So anyway, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. You know, you've been tuning into the D Podcast Experience. I hope y'all liked it. Thank you, everybody, for emailing your questions in. Caitlin, I promise I'm not mad at you, honey. I think that was a great question, and I just hope that you received what I was saying the right way. And I just wanted to clear that up. And to everybody else, thank y'all. You know, I definitely appreciate it. And tune in next time for the D Podcast Experience. Like I said, these aren't on any schedule, but I definitely want to at least put one out a week. But like I said, I have interviews coming up too, y'all. So until then, y'all already know what it is. I love y'all. Make sure to love yourself so we can love others, y'all. All right? I appreciate y'all. I really do. Thank you for rocking with me. I'm gone.
Riding in the left lane, guarantee I'm twisting shit. Running down the freeway, I've been trying to hit it big. And just as fast as it comes, it'll go. I done been to this money, lost it all in wind, bro. Kept the spirit of a hustler, I done climbed out the hole. Now we plotting on the million while we smoking on the O. Having memories of them nights I was sitting in the hole. Doing 23 and 1, trying to have my spirit broke. Made a promise to myself, now I'm crossing out my goals. And the type of life I live, got them thinking that I'm on. Running through other people money like I'm Kennedy. Gotta pray for them cause I'm living with this enemy. Running up a bag, Lord protect me from my enemies. Trying to go limitless.